The fight for Champions League and Premier League glory at Tottenham Hotspur is well and truly on. And after signing two new players worth over £100 million, plus still having almost £200 million still left to spend, I think we've got room for one more signing this episode. As ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. And as always, we're starting with your comments. Mitoma or Jota are probably the best choice for left winger in my opinion. For midfield, you should consider to bring in Locatelli, and Taylor would be a good centre-back prospect as well. Yeah, so there's no doubt that Mitoma, now 27, is entering his prime, and now having moved to Marseille on this career mode, would certainly, I'm sure, be happy to make the move to Spurs and can definitely offer us something to our squad. And as for Jota, again, another player who was heavily linked with Spurs in the summer transfer window in real life, and another player who many of you have said you would like to see play in Tottenham colours. However, with my captain Heung-min Son still firing on all cylinders this season and becoming my top goal scorer so far, with 10 goals in 17 Premier League appearances, I'm not quite sure he's ready to be replaced in my starting 11 just yet. However, with him turning 33 in the summer and his stats on the decline, it might be sooner rather than later that I look at those choices to potentially replace the South Korean legend. To keep it realistic, I think you should sell Tapsoba because he wants to leave, and in real life the manager would have to respect their decision and let them go unless you have a lot of games that you can play him in and he becomes happy. Yeah, so this is the problem with Tapsoba. Although he has already featured 14 times for me so far this season, he hasn't really been able to command a starting position. And whilst he's been decent in the Champions League, those sort of performances have not been reflected in the Premier League, and because of that he's now demanded a move away from the club. And with Maurizio Pochettino returning to his former club to try and buy our players for the third time in this career mode, it is with great regret that we will be saying goodbye to Edmund Tapsoba as he agrees a deal with Chelsea for £50.5 million. Since you want to sell Tapsoba, you could bring in Kim Min-jae as a replacement, as he's Korean, he can press well and he has great pace. So yeah, with the unfortunate departure of Edmund Tapsoba, that does mean that I am going to need to find an immediate replacement for the 25-year-old. And based on your comments and suggestions, there are three key players whom I've whittled the choices down to. Starting off with this man, Malik Taylor. He's got experience playing for AC Milan, but on this career mode he seems to have moved to Leicester City. He's only 23 years of age, so clearly he's got his best years ahead of him. Added to the fact, I think it would probably be pretty easy to pry him away from Leicester City as well. However, with him only being 79 rated overall, he would represent a backward step at the heart of my defence if I was to bring him in. And I think right now, with us looking to challenge for both the Premier League and the Champions League, we need someone to come in who is going to be able to hit the ground running immediately. At 27 years of age and 87 rated, there can be no doubt that Fikayo Tomori would certainly be able to hit the ground running if he was to join us. He's got pace, power, and all the attributes I would like to look for at the heart of my defence. However, with him now being at AC Milan and with him being their best defender, they will unfortunately not sell him as they don't have enough depth in that position. And so in my mind, that leaves me with just one more option. He's a man who's a commanding figure at the heart of Bayern Munich's defence, and a man who has ample experience playing at the highest level. And as someone who has an incredible amount of respect for our Tottenham Hotspur captain and his international compatriot in South Korea, I'm sure he will be absolutely desperate not just to ply his trade in the Premier League, but to play at club level alongside his national captain Heung-min Son. That's right, Kim Min-jae, the towering centre-back, joins Tottenham Hotspur Football Club for £62 million. He represents a massive step up at the heart of my defence and someone who can come in and immediately command a starting position. He's the perfect replacement for the injured Benjamin Pavard, and I'm sure he will form a formidable partnership alongside Christian Romero at the heart of my defence. But just as I thought this squad was looking in perfect condition to try and challenge for the Premier League and Champions League titles, we are hit with some massive news as Atletico Madrid have come in with a bid of over £100 million for our star striker Dusan Vlahovic. And despite my pleading with the young man to stay at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, see out his contract and try and achieve greatness by winning the Premier League and the Champions League title, frustratingly the chance to play against the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona means that his head has been turned and he wants to leave the club. And so that has left me with no choice but to accept a renewed offer from Diego Simeone. And it means that at a pivotal moment in our season, one of our best players are departing the club as Dusan Vlahovic leaves Tottenham Hotspur Football Club for £107 million. And so, on transfer deadline day, we are hit with a massive conundrum. Now, I could turn to 21-year-old Aleo Veliz to ask him to step up to become our number one striker, but at such a young age and with barely any experience, I think that's going to be a big ask for the young Argentinian. And so I think I'm going to do exactly what Ange Postecoglou did in real life, and that is to turn to our club captain, the Tottenham icon Heung-min Son, to move into a striking position and to lead the line for us up front. However, with Son moving centrally, that means that a spot has opened up on the left-hand side of our midfield that suddenly, on transfer deadline day, we now need to fill. And so, having listened to all of your comments and spoken to my club captain, the South Korean revolution is going to continue at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. As that is right, it is now time to turn to the exciting, up-and-coming and dynamic left winger, Lee Kang-in will join Tottenham Hotspur Football Club for £33.5 million. He's another player who offers us versatility across midfield and in central areas, and at 23 years of age, he's got his best years ahead of him. For me, though, the most interesting thing is that we now have two of Europe's most exciting young and up-and-coming talents that are going to be battling it out on the left-hand side of our midfield. Will it be Brennan Johnson or will it be Lee Kang-in who is going to be able to cement themselves as the long-term replacement for Heung-min Son? However, with the dramas of transfer deadline day finally coming to an end, it is finally time for our two new arrivals to make their long-awaited debuts. And my word, what a team to make their debuts against as we head to the London Stadium to face off against West Ham United. From looking like a pretty solid unit for the first 6 months of the season, we've now got 4 new recruits, all starting today. Kim Min-jae in the central defence, Nuno Mendes at left back, Conor Gallagher starts in central midfield, and Lee Kang-in will make his debut in left wing. But for me, the most interesting point is going to be how is Heung-min Son going to perform in his new role up front. Lee Kang-in with his first touch in a Spurs shirt finds Nuno Mendes. Mendes into Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son takes it! Oh, he puts it over the bar. And Heung-min Son was only inches away from immediately cementing himself as a great choice to start up front. Pedro Porro in a central position finds Benton Core. He's going to find the overlapping run of Nuno Mendes, who finds Lee Kang-in. It's his first opportunity to really drive at the West Ham defence, and he does that. Tries to fire a ball in, not good enough though. Lucas Paqueta for West Ham bursting through centrally, but finds a wonderful ball over to Kudos, who absolutely killed us when we played West Ham the last time, but that is a great interception from Kim Min-jae to prove exactly why he was the right man to join Tottenham. Lee Kang-in, he's absolutely taken out from behind. That is a horrendous challenge. Look at him on the floor. I'm hoping and praying that he's not injured straight away. And Kudos can consider himself a very lucky man, only getting a yellow card. That is a horrendous challenge. That should be a red. My word, how on earth has he stayed on the field? Well, fortunately enough, Lee Kang-in is going to be okay, and he's going to be the man who's going to take the resulting free kick. I'm going to try and fire this into the penalty spot. It's well put in, looking for the header. Madison headed away. Kulusevski will try and pick it up, but it's well defended by West Ham. Kudos being chased down by Lee Kang-in here. Good defending. And he's already showing he's desperate to make an impression to the Tottenham Hotspur faithful. Going to be a corner here for West Ham that Ben Rama is going to take, and he doesn't have any options. So he's going to just throw it into the box. Headed away by Heung-min Son. Only out as far as Kulusevski. He manages to get it away. Only out as far as Kufal though. Is he going to try and fire this one back in the box? No, he doesn't. Well intercepted by Nuno Mendes. Lee Kang-in now to try and break into his national compatriot Heung-min Son. He finds the ball back to him. Doesn't have any options in the centre though, so I'm just going to try and hold this one up and look at the back post for Kulusevski. Instead he finds Kulusevski in the centre, and it's a big save from Fabianski. Bentancur picks it up, fires the ball back out to Lee Kang-in, who's been heavily involved so far. Looks for Heung-min Son. Headed away though, only out as far as Andre Silva, who manages to head it clear. Kim Min-jae though gives it to Nuno Mendes. All pressure for Spurs here. Madison onto his right. Madison strikes straight the goalkeeper. Conor Gallagher going to fire a ball all the way over to Lee Kang-in on the left hand side, who takes it really nicely, and he just drifts past the challenge and fires a ball into Heung-min Son, who was so close to getting on the end of it. Ketar into Soucek, unmarked in the centre of the park. It's Conor Gallagher who tries to challenge, but Florentino Luis picks it up into Andre Silva, who blazes it over the bar. And Rama being chased down by Kim Min-jae, and that is a brilliant challenge from the South Korean, showing his commanding figure at the back for us. Bentancur into Lee Kang-in. Lovely turn, and he drives down the left-hand side, going to try and find a ball into the box. It's a good ball, and Fabianski makes a bit of a meal of it, but we've got a corner. And after a 70-minute display, it's going to be Lee Kang-in who's going to come off, and it's going to be Brennan Johnson, his fierce competitor on that left-hand side, who's going to come on, and he'll be hoping he can inject some sort of energy and some sort of impetus into our play and try and get the goal for us. Maddison to take, throws it deep, looking for Kim Min-jae with a towering header. What a save. Maddison's going to take the corner on the other side, looking for the substitute, Aleo Veliz, who's come on for Heung-min Son. Couldn't find him, but instead Conor Gallagher will pick it up on the edge of the box, throws it back to Kim Min-jae, who's in an advanced position. He finds James Maddison again. Maddison into Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson with his right. Puts it wide. Alvarez into Kudos on the right-hand side for West Ham. Nice little reverse pass into Florentino Luis. He gets it back. He's going to try and go past Mendes. He does go past Mendes. Can he find a ball in? No, he can't. Kim Min-jae again with a huge block. And this time it's Benton Cole with a block. Qatar out wide to Ben Rama on the left-hand side. End-to-end stuff here in the final 5 minutes of this game. It's Romero, though, who puts in a fabulous challenge. And again, we can try and hit them on the counter-attack. Lovely ball into Kubo. Kubo driving into the centre here. He's driving into the penalty area. Can he find a ball into Aleo Veliz? No, he can't. It's too easy. Perhaps I should have shot. And that is a massive let-off for West Ham as the goalkeeper boots it clear and the referee blows for full time. Big mistake on my part in stoppage time there. I really should have taken the shot off, but I didn't, and that has potentially cost us a huge 3 points here. Full time, it finishes West Ham 0, Spurs 0. And of course, with a goalless draw, the media are now demanding to know how on earth am I going to get the best out of my attacking talent, bearing in mind we've just sold our best striker at the worst possible time. And whilst it was a fairly solid debut for Lee Kang-in on the left-hand side, contributing a lot and linking up fairly well with Heung-min Son, the lack of goals and the lack of clear-cut chances created just goes to show perhaps the media are onto something. So let me know down in the comments below, with Heung-min Son now set as my central striker, how can I get the best out of him and the players around him? Do I need to consider changing up some of the attacking instructions? Do I need to think about how I can try and improve the tactics to fit better with the type of players I have at the club? Or do I need to consider changing my formation altogether? Again, let me know down in the comments what you think. But after struggling at home to Nottingham Forest, only managing to get a last-minute equaliser from Brennan Johnson, we find ourselves sinking down to 4th place in the Premier League, now 5 points off league leaders Liverpool. However, after a bit of a tough period, the squad are hit with a much-needed morale boost, as the leader of men, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, has returned to training and declared himself fit to play in our very next game. And what a game to return for, as we travel to Anfield, looking to avenge our 3-0 battering at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the hands of Liverpool. As we look to close the gap to the top of the Premier League leaders, it is a mouth-watering clash. It's Liverpool against Tottenham. Kulusevski finds Pedro Porro, and Pedro Porro has got acres of space to run into down this right-hand side. Can he find a ball over into James Maddison on the volley? Oh my word, that was so close to an absolutely wonderful goal. Look at this from a volley. Absolutely sensational, and he was inches away from perhaps the goal of the season. Olsen for Liverpool under pressure from James Maddison, and all Liverpool can do is hack the ball forward, but they've done a really good job. But Højbjerg, on his return to the starting 11, does a wonderful job of breaking up play. Maddison tried to feed in Heung-min Son, instead feeds in Lee Kang-in, and it's a brilliant block from Virgil van Dijk. McAllister fires a ball over into Tsimikas, again well blocked this time from Kulusevski, and he's taken out from behind, but play goes on. Højbjerg back to Kulusevski on the right hand side. He tries to go past Tsimikas. Instead, I will try and cut back and try and feed a ball across, looking for the Heung-min Son. What a volley! What an almighty save from Alisson. Well, we are knocking at the door in the opening 20 minutes here. James Maddison to fire a ball in, looking for the header. Kulusevski, another huge save from Alisson. Truda, McAllister, Virgil van Dijk into Gertruda. He looks for Mo Salah's gone past Nuno Mendes, who's struggling so far to adapt to life in the Premier League. He can't get back. Gakpo has it, fires it across. Easy for Vicario in the end. James Maddison, who finds himself deep, but he's wriggled past a couple of challenges and finds Pedro Porro. He feeds it into Kulusevski. Kulusevski just cut it back into James Maddison. Maddison into Heung-min Son, and Heung-min Son into the back of the net. Well, my word, what a sensational piece of play by the entire attacking team. Kulusevski into the path of James Maddison. Even better ball into Heung-min Son, and it's one touch, one goal. A fabulous finish from the South Korean. Our club captain scores again, and this time he makes it 1-0 Spurs. Into James Maddison, wriggles away from a challenge really well here and feeds in Pedro Porro, who's just offside. Benton Cole into James Maddison. James Maddison, who's been heavily involved so far, and he's done a brilliant job of getting away from the Liverpool press. Benton Cole gets that all wrong. into McAllister. McAllister out wide to Mo Salah, cuts back inside for Gakpo. Liverpool don't seem to know where to go here. Are they running out of ideas at Anfield? And it looks like Højbjerg, what a brilliant way for him to come back into the starting 11, and what an impact he has made by winning the ball. Heung-min Son though feeds in Maddison. Maddison turns. I'm going to try and look for a run here. Can't find anyone for Ling Kang-ying, on the left hand side. Fires it across. And it's too heavy. Instead it goes over the head of Kulusevski, but Pedro Porro will pick it up and he dances round the left back, fires it back in. Another huge cross, this time into Heung-min Son, and Heung-min Son into the back of the net. It's his second goal of the game. It's our second goal of the game, and it's a huge cushion that no doubt we needed. And it's a wonderful ball over from Pedro Porro, but it's the two South Koreans who combine. Lee Kang-in gets his first assist in a Spurs shirt, and it's beautifully taken down by Heung-min Son. It's 2-0 Spurs. Brennan Johnson on as a sub, feeds in Nuno Mendes, and look at the space Nuno Mendes has. He continues into the box here. Nuno Mendes into Heung-min Son for his hat-trick. What a save from Alisson. Bentancur, brilliant challenge on Gertruda, and he manages to escape with the ball and escape down the left-hand side. He continues unopposed here. Can I try and fire a ball into the box? I can, looking for Heung-min Son. I'm desperate for that man to get his hat-trick here today. Pedro Porro down into the path of Højbjerg, who takes it really nicely. James Maddison onto his left, into the edge of the box. Big save. But with just 1 minute left, unfortunately Son won't get his hat-trick, but he does deserve a warm round of applause from the Tottenham faithful. It's been a fabulous performance. Maddison, with hopefully the final corner of the game, fires it in looking for the header. Brennan Johnson, what a save from Alisson again. However, he will get another chance to fire it in, and he does fire it in to the penalty spot. It's headed away, only out as far as Kubo. Maddison, back to Kubo. Kubo tried to find a ball into Brennan Johnson. It was well defended by Liverpool in the end, as the referee blows for full time. Well, what a game, and what a result. The fans know how big and important that result was. It is a huge 3 points on the board. That man Heung-min Son was sensational from start to finish. As at full time here at Anfield, it finishes Liverpool 0, Spurs 2. It is brilliant to see this man's name back on the score sheet, and it's even better to see this man's name on the assist sheet for the first time in a Tottenham shirt. And with Højbjerg going straight back into action, being thrown into the thick of things and making an immediate impact on his return to the starting 11. Things are looking even more positive as Benjamin Pavard is the next man to return from his long-term injury. And as you can see from the background, we are going to need all of the Champions League experience we can get, as we have been drawn in a mammoth round of 16 tie against Borussia Dortmund. That is right, we are heading straight to Germany to play in front of the white wall as we look to seal progression to the next round. And due to fatigue, there are a few changes that I have made to my starting 11. It sees the return of Sergio Ayala to left back. Bryan Hill will get an opportunity to play behind Heung-min Son, and Brennan Johnson will also feature on the left-hand side of midfield as he replaces Lee Kang-in, who drops to the bench. Bryan Hill tries to play a ball forward, but is well intercepted, but Bentancur picks up the scraps, and Bryan Hill will get it back, feeds in Heung-min Son, and look at the pace already he's got, drives into the box, strikes! Oh my word, it's absolutely sensational! Well, within the first 5 minutes, Heung-min Son strikes again. Look at this for a goal, drives into the box, unopposed, and he absolutely smashes it with his left foot. He can shoot with his right, he can shoot with his left, he can shoot from anywhere. What a fabulous goal! Heung-min Son gives us the lead. Schuler into Zabitzer into Adeyemi, who's well challenged by Christian Romero, and he can try to bring the ball out of defence. Finds Kulusevski into Bryan Hill, tried to play it into the onrushing Højbjerg, but it was well intercepted. And look at this for a ball back into Adeyemi. He goes back to Zabitzer, into Griezmann. What a goal from Borussia Dortmund, and just like that, they are right back in this tie. Well, it was a brilliant passage of play from Borussia Dortmund. They completely opened us up at the back. And a fabulous finish from Griezmann. Vicario could only get a touch on it, but it wasn't enough. It's 1-1. Brennan Johnson into Ayala. Nice pass. Ayala goes central. Wonderful stuff here. Into Bryan Hill. Bryan Hill into Kulusevski. Kulusevski into the back of the net. My word, what is happening here in Germany? It is goals galore in front of the yellow wall. And just like that, within a blink of an eye, it's 2-1. Fabulous piece of play. Ayala was the architect. Wicked ball into Bryan Hill. And a lovely touch around the corner into Kulusevski. And he was not going to miss from that distance. It's 2-1 Spurs. Giovanni Reina down the right-hand side. Lovely challenge from Kim Min-jae. Brought in to do things exactly like that. Heung-min Son, though, out to Brennan Johnson on the left-hand side. He's got the pace to try and go one-on-one with Reece James, who's now playing for Borussia Dortmund. Cuts it back. Lovely, lovely little flick back into Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son with his right. My word, it's 3. Well, what is happening? It is absolutely outrageous stuff. 4 goals in the opening 30 minutes and 3 of them are ours. It is Heung-min Son with his second, but it's Sergio Ayala who's again involved. This time he gets the assist. but it's a fabulous finish from Heung-min Son, right into the top right-hand corner. Keeper had no chance. We lead 3-1. Ayala, oh lovely stuff from Ayala. He is in fine form today. He is desperate to try and get his place back from Nuno Mendes, and he feeds it into Bryan Hill. Tried to play it into Kulusevski. It was just a little bit too slow with that one. Adeyemi for Dortmund now. They're desperately, frantically trying to search for a way back in this game. Sabitzer, wonderful, brilliant. It's 3-2. They found a way back in the game. Well, this is the most end-to-end game I think I've ever played so far in this career mode. Absolutely crazy stuff. 5 goals inside the opening half. And it's Sabitzer for Dortmund to get them back in the game, just as I thought we'd managed to claw out a lead. Dortmund back in it, 3-2. Ayala, he's been so heavily involved so far down this left flank, but he cuts it in to Brennan Johnson, who himself cuts inside, looking for a ball to Heung-min Son. Again, I tried to feed it to Bryan Hill, good defending. Pedro Porro into Bentancur. Bentancur's going to try and find a ball to Ayala down this left-hand side. Wonderful ball. Ayala to play it back across, looking for Heung-min Son with his head. Straight into the arms of the goalkeeper for half-time. Giovanni Reina for Borussia Dortmund to bring it forward. He's being tracked by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and that is a brilliant challenge from the Dane, proving exactly why he's gone straight back into my starting 11. Bentancur, though, will feed in Bryan Hill down this left-hand side. Has Bryan Hill got the pace to drive into the box? He does manage to kind of feed a ball back across into Heung-min Son. Well defended. Pedro Porro into Bentancur. Bentancur can release Kulusevski down the right-hand side, and Kulusevski instead is going to cut inside and going to try and feed a ball across to Lee Kang-in, who's just come on as a sub. Lovely touch onto his right, straight at the goalkeeper. Beauvais into Julian Brandt, who's got no one marking him. Kim Min-jae with a fabulous challenge. Conor Gallagher now on as a sub. Aleo Veliz tried to feed a ball into Højbjerg, but it just wasn't the right one. Beauvais again for Dortmund into Nemencha, who's been pretty quiet. Griezmann, though, can't find a ball, and Ayala will bring this one out into Aleo Veliz, who's come on as a sub. Aleo Veliz tries to bring the ball forward into Bentancur. Nice ball into him. Bentancur out wide to Sergio Ayala, who's been up and down that left flank relentlessly all game. Højbjerg can't get there, but the referee will blow for full time. Well, my word, after a breathless first half, neither team could get a goal in the second, but I don't care either way. That man Heung-min Son with another 2 goals to his name and another fabulous performance. And we will take the victory back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as it finishes here, Dortmund 2, Spurs 3. Well, Son grabs another brace as we manage to grab the win, and that really gives us the advantage heading into the second leg. And with Lee Kang-in absolutely over the moon at being able to make his Champions League debut for Spurs, and with us managing to claw back the gap at the top to Liverpool to just 2 points, morale is high and the entire squad are feeling confident as we begin to march on to the final few months of the season. One concern I do have, though, is the performances of this man Nuno Mendes. He's 85 rated and by far one of the best players in my squad, but he has seemed to struggle to adapt to life in Tottenham colours this season. Perhaps it's moving to a new country, perhaps it's just the pace of the Premier League, I don't quite know. But one positive to his move does seem to be the resurgence of Sergio Ayala at left back. He's now up by 4 to 73, and it seems like the added competition is doing wonders to his confidence after a fabulous performance against Borussia Dortmund. And he's going to get another opportunity to impress as we are about to finish off this episode with an eye-watering clash at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as we welcome our title rivals Manchester City for a game that is going to have huge ramifications on the Premier League title race. To Pedro Porro on the right-hand side. Pedro Porro is going to bring this one forward to Kulusevski. Nice pass into him, and Kulusevski to go down, looking for a ball in, looking for Brennan Johnson at the back post. Doesn't quite reach him, well defended by Manchester City. Nunes out to Grealish on the left-hand side. Grealish has got Haaland up ahead of him. Can he try and find him? Doesn't seem like he needs him, but he does find him in the end. And Haaland's in the box here. He's being held up by Pedro Porro beautifully, but Pedro Porro couldn't get the ball away. And Jack Grealish, lovely little flick into Phil Foden. Vicario is there. Romero gets it all wrong. Vicario again. My word, it was 6s and 7s at the back. But fortunately enough, we just managed to hack the ball clear. Now Cancelo into Nunes, out to Grealish. Lovely stuff from City, into Cancelo again. He looks for Jack Grealish, up ahead of him. Jack Grealish back into the centre. Well challenged though, and intercepted by Højbjerg. And now it's Heung-min Son to try and bring the ball clear here. He's got Brennan Johnson up ahead of him, and it's a wonderful ball into Brennan Johnson, who's got the pace to get away from the Manchester City defence. Into the box, Brennan Johnson. That is absolutely fabulous. He salutes the sky, and why shouldn't he? That was arguably his best goal of the season. Well, he just had the pace, the power and the tenacity to drive away from the Manchester City defence. It was a glorious finish and a wonderful goal from the young Englishman, looking to try and compete with Lee Kang-in on the left-hand side. And my, what a way to do it. Brilliant goal. 1-0 Spurs. Phil Foden trying to go one-on-one with Sergio Ayala, and he does have the pace to get past him, but Sergio Ayala with a brilliant piece of defending to hold him up. Can't do enough though to stop Phil Foden from continuing his run into the box. Instead it's Mickey van der Ven in an unlikely start for the Dutchman, who manages to get the ball clear. Brennan Johnson into Maddison. A nice pass into Sergio Ayala, who comes storming down this left-hand side, looking to try and make an impression here. Lovely ball into James Maddison, into Brennan Johnson. He says thank you. It's 2-0. Again, he salutes the sky because, again, it's a massive goal for the young Englishman. But it was Sergio Ayala who started the move with a bursting run down the left-hand side, but some beautiful build-up to lay it on a plate for Brennan Johnson, who easily just curled it round the path of Ederson to put us 2-0 up. Ruben Diaz for City. Out wide to Phil Foden. Ayala now. It's been a real ding-dong battle between the two of them down this left-hand side all game. And Phil Foden can't get past him, so has to go back to Mazraoui. He instead can find De Bruyne. Ayala has got to do a job here to stop De Bruyne from getting in, but instead Mazraoui manages to. Haaland's there. Brilliant save from Vicario. It's booted clear by Mickey van der Ven. Brennan Johnson wins the ball high and feeds in James Maddison. And James Maddison on his left to try and strike. Wonderful save from Ederson. Højbjerg. Nice pass into Maddison. Maddison's going to try and release Brennan Johnson. He does release Brennan Johnson, and Johnson has the pace to get away from Rodri here, and he drives into the box looking for his hat-trick. Instead cuts it back to Maddison. Wonderful save. Højbjerg. Nice pass into Lee Kang-in, who's just come on as a sub. Heung-min Son feeds in Rodrigo Bentancur to put the game to bed. He does put the game to bed. Well, my word, what a fabulous finish, and what a fabulous game this has been for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Lovely build-up play yet again, and it was a brilliant ball into Bentancur, who found himself in the most advanced position. And it's a brilliant finish from the Uruguay man past Ederson, who had no chance whatsoever. It is 3-0 Tottenham Hotspur. The crowd go wild with celebrations. The Manchester City faithful cannot quite believe what they've seen. It's been a demolition here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, in no small part to the performance of this man, Brennan Johnson. It is full time here, and it's 3-0 Tottenham. It's a brace from the young Englishman, and it's enough to lift us above Manchester City, but still only 2 points behind Liverpool. Just like the arrival and competition of Nuno Mendes has done absolute wonders for Sergio Ayala at the back, it seems like the arrival of Lee Kang-in has done exactly the same thing for Brennan Johnson. A special performance from someone who has that something special. He is now up to 82, and he seems like his trajectory is just continuing to go up. It's been a roller coaster of an episode that has seen some surprising departures, but some even more important arrivals. But with us going strong in the Premier League, with us having the advantage in the Champions League, and with us looking to go all the way in the FA Cup, it is a very exciting time to be a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and a very exciting time to be watching this career mode. Thank you everyone for watching today. That is the end of this episode, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.